So Mike, Mike's whole family's in it. His two sisters and his brother, um, and um, and his mom, for that matter. Um, Getting them to be really open and honest, I think, was a lot easier for them, with knowing they're talking to their brother. So they're talking to the guy that they'd be telling the same thing whether the cameras were on or not. And I think that's a really important part of this story. Um, uh, and I think it was an important part of the story, even with the guys, because the guys grew up with Mike too. And so, and it's one of the themes of the documentary, which is family, and that all these guys were brothers and sisters with each other. They all were. I was at a Paul Langlois' 60th birthday party on Friday night in Kingston. Mike was there, and Mike's sister was there, and it was like everybody's family. Everybody's the same people that they knew. Like I saw Mike's sister, and she said, "Jake, I haven't seen you in so long." And I was like, "Yeah, I just see you on the screen all the time." And she laughed. But she, for me and Charlene, it didn't seem like we hadn't seen each other, and we probably hadn't seen each other in 25 years or something, but it didn't feel that way. So I think that's an important part of this story, is how not only did they have their own families, but how the families intertwined with each other and knew each other. And that would only happen if you're all from a small town like Kingston. If this band had come out of Toronto, it never would have happened the way it happened.
That's it. Kingston is a character and needed to be a character in the documentary. And I would take it a little further. That first episode is a love letter to Kingston, and there are some elements in there that that there were notes that came back, and maybe a little too much, maybe a little too much Kingston, but it needed to be, and so much that we established in the first episode comes back. It's really, the storytelling is circular, and it's going to blow your mind, I think, by the time you get to the end of episode 4, just how circular the story is. So those, that relationship, the interrelationships, the relationship with the place, the sense of place, is all so critical. And I could have gone further. I really could have gone further into the roots of Kingston, and this sort of, it's a fascinating place, and really how the band reflects these sort of deep historical elements of Kingston, even. But obviously that was a little bit more than we needed for our documentary. But there's no question, Dan Aykroyd. I can't say it any better than Dan Aykroyd. Oh, Kingston, yeah, that town down the 401 between Toronto and Montreal. No, that's the town that built the Tragically Hip. And it's true. It's true. And also, I think, and it comes up in a few of the clips. It is also meant to be, in many ways, an homage to small town life, because listen, this Toronto is a great city. Halifax, a great city. So many of the people that end up calling it home come from somewhere else, and they bring with them, I think, in many cases, these lessons and these strengths that they learned in the what would you say, the safety, or the from a small town, from that stuff. So yeah, absolutely essential in that first episode.